You gave Iraq permission to give Iran $10 billion, didn't you?
No, Senator. As I mentioned, this was something that started in 2018 under the Trump administration. It allowed Iraq to purchase electricity and to store that money in Iraq. None of that money to date will ever go to Iran. The money is being held for humanitarian purposes.
You're not telling the truth, Mr. Secretary. No disrespect, but that's just not true. Senator Menendez and Senator Scott made the point. We all know, unless you peaked in high school, you know that money is fungible. The Biden administration also paid Iran $6 billion to release 5 of our prisoners, didn't it?
Senator, again, that money is in Qatar. None of that money has been used. It hasn't been moved.
Okay, did you just see that? Because I need a moment before we dive into the full thing. That was Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana going toe-to-toe with the Secretary of State, and Kennedy was surgical. He came in with dates, figures, and facts, and every time the Secretary tried to deflect, Kennedy just didn't let him breathe. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't always agree with everything every politician says, but when someone walks into a Senate hearing prepared, with receipts citing specific waivers on specific dates and specific dollar amounts, that's not grandstanding. That's accountability. The question Kennedy is really asking is one a lot of Americans are asking right now. Whose side are we actually on? When Iran-backed forces kill 3 of our soldiers, and 6 weeks later we're still signing off on arrangements that benefit Tehran, somebody needs to answer for that. And Kennedy was not letting this man leave that room without answering. We're about to watch the full video, and then I'll break down everything. The Iran waivers, the $6 billion Qatar situation, Maduro, and Venezuela. There is a lot to unpack. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell because this is exactly what we cover on this channel. Real politics, real accountability, no fluff. And if you already ride with us, drop a comment right now and tell me your first reaction to that clip. All right, let's watch.
Senator Kennedy from Louisiana is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, the Biden administration has operated as Iran's best friend, hasn't it?
No, I disagree completely, Senator.
Well, Iran sold Iraq $10 billion, not million, $10 billion worth of electricity, but Iraq couldn't pay them because of our sanctions against Iran. The Biden administration waived those sanctions, didn't it?
Senator,
so that Iran could get $10 billion. Isn't that a fact?
No, Senator. Those waivers started under the Trump administration. That money is still in Iraq. That money has never been to Tehran. It will never go to Tehran.
The first waiver was on July 2023, wasn't it?
Senator, I believe those waivers started in 2018.
The first waiver that the Biden administration did was July of 2023, wasn't it?
So, Senator, again, I believe the waiver program started in.
You didn't issue a waiver on July of 2023.
Senator, the waivers were continued into 2023.
And you issued another waiver to get the money to Iran in November of 2023, didn't you?
Senator, as I said, that money has never been, will never go to Iran. The money is still in Iraq. The money may be used for humanitarian purposes, but not a dollar of that money.
And you issued another waiver on March of 2024, not too long ago. That was 6 weeks after Iran killed 3 American soldiers. Senator, you gave Iraq permission to give Iran $10 billion, didn't you?
No, Senator. As I mentioned, this was something that started in 2018 under the Trump administration. It allowed Iraq to purchase electricity and to store that money in Iraq. None of that money to date will ever go to Iran. The money is being held for humanitarian purposes.
You're not telling the truth, Mr. Secretary. No disrespect, but that's just not true. Senator Menendez and Senator Scott made the point. We all know, unless you peaked in high school, you know that money is fungible. The Biden administration also paid Iran $6 billion to release 5 of our prisoners, didn't it?
Senator, again, that money is in Qatar. None of that money has been used. It hasn't been moved. And as I said earlier, while money is fungible in the United States because we care about our people, it's not fungible for the Iranian.
So the money's in Qatar, in a bank in Qatar?
Yes.
Now, what do you think? Who controls that bank in Qatar?
Those banks are controlled by those individuals who run that financial institution.
I see. So if President Biden says Qatar Bank, don't give this money to Iran, and the Qatar government says give the money to Iran, who do you think the Qatar Bank's going to listen to, Mr. Secretary?
So, Senator, those banks in Qatar value greatly their ability to have a relationship with the United States because that's how they make money.
Do you believe in the tooth fairy?
Ultimately, if we cut off those banks, they will no longer be able to make money.
Do you believe in the Easter Bunny?
So, Senator, while I understand your point, fundamentally, none of that money has gone to Iran, and that money is not going to go directly to Iran.
Now, you did the same thing with Maduro, you meaning the Biden administration. You guys did the same thing with Maduro in Venezuela. You removed all the sanctions on oil and mining, including gold, with Maduro, the dictator of Venezuela, didn't you?
So GL 44 and 43 were put in place in Venezuela. 43 has already.
Is that a yes?
GL 43 has been removed.
Yeah, so you said, okay, Maduro, we're going to remove Maduro, best friends with Iran and Cuba and China and Russia. The Biden administration removed the sanctions on oil and mining in Venezuela.
Senator.
And the Maduro said, I promise you that I'll hold a free and fair election. And then he put all his opponents in jail. And the Biden administration has done nothing, hasn't it, except stand there sucking on its teeth.
So, Senator, I want to say again, we provided general licenses. We did not remove the sanctions. The reason we did that was because we did not trust. So what we can do
The
with
sanctions on Maduro's oil are not there, are they?
General License 44, which gives permission for the sale of oil, expires on April 17th, which will then put those sanctions back in place. We did not remove the sanctions.
The problem you folks have is that you want to quote Socrates in the middle of a bar fight. Iran is not our friend. Venezuela is not our friend. President Biden keeps giving them money to buy weapons to try to kill us.
Senator,
do you not understand that?
Sanctions on the Iranian regime. We have not allowed a dollar from Qatar or from the Iraqi electricity fund to flow to Iran.
That's just not true. Senator Menendez explained that to you.
The money.
How can you be that obtuse?
Senator, as I've said, our goal is to make sure that we take every action to prevent Iran's destabilizing activity in the region. We're going to continue to go after Iran's sale of oil and try and limit their ability as best we can using the tools that you've given us. I'm here before the Senate asking for additional tools that will allow us to continue to do that.
Okay, Senator Kennedy made your point. Senator Warner from Virginia is recognized.
All right, now you've seen the whole thing. And I want to start by saying that is what a Senate hearing is supposed to look like. Kennedy didn't go in there to make a speech or hear himself talk. He went in with a timeline. July 2023, November 2023, March 2024. And he held the secretary's feet to the fire on every single one of those dates. What did the secretary do? He deflected. He kept going back to, well, this started under Trump, as if that answers what your administration did after you took office. Let me be clear. The Trump started it response is not an answer. It is a dodge. Kennedy wasn't asking about 2018.
He was asking about right now.
He was asking about decisions this administration made after Iran killed American soldiers. And on that point, the secretary had nothing. Now let's talk about the money, because this is where it gets important. The secretary keeps saying the money is in Iraq. The money is in Qatar. It hasn't gone to Iran. And technically maybe that's true. But Kennedy's point is that money is fungible, and that is not a conspiracy theory. That is basic economics. If I pay your rent, you now have extra money to spend on whatever you want. If Iraq doesn't have to find $10 billion somewhere else, Iran benefits. Full stop. And the $6 billion in Qatar? The secretary wants us to trust that Qatari banks who do business with Iran are going to hold the line because they value their relationship with the United States. Kennedy called that believing in the tooth fairy, and honestly, he's right. That kind of thinking from the top diplomat of the most powerful country on earth is genuinely alarming. Then we get to Venezuela, and I think this was Kennedy's most underrated punch of the whole exchange. He pointed out that the Biden administration lifted sanctions on Maduro, a dictator who is buddies with Iran, Cuba, China, and Russia, in exchange for a promise of free elections. Maduro then threw all his political opponents in jail. And the administration's response was basically nothing. Kennedy said they were standing there sucking on their teeth, and I honestly cannot find a more accurate description of that failure. The secretary's defense was that General License 44 was expiring on April 17th and sanctions would be restored. But that is not a policy. That is just running out the clock. Maduro got what he wanted, the opposition got crushed, and the administration is calling that a win? Here is my overall take. Kennedy reminded every American watching that oversight is not optional. When the government is making decisions involving billions of dollars flowing into financial systems connected to our enemies, someone needs to be in that room asking hard questions. Not politely. Not diplomatically. Hard. The secretary is a smart man, and he knows how to talk. But knowing how to talk and telling the truth are two very different things, and Kennedy made that very clear today. Drop a comment and let me know. Did Kennedy make his case? Did the secretary give you satisfactory answers? I want to hear from you. Like this video if you think more politicians need to walk into hearings the way Kennedy did today, prepared, focused, and unafraid. See you in the next one.